Howdy ho. You right?
Yeah. I'm ready.
Okay, I'm turning this on here. Mercy. KCast Radio, it's classic rock to the bone on the KCast Radio app. Download that KCast Radio app. It takes you about 5 or 6 seconds. I don't follow you. I don't send you any notifications, although I probably should. And we do classic rock around the clock, 24 hours a day. It's the classic rock that you don't have to tolerate, that you absolutely love. And we do the best we possibly can and not playing a lot of commercials. We have to take care of our clients. Super Show Fireworks, ssfireworks.com is one of those. As you can see, one small spark, and we're up in flames. That's why I said we have an incredibly explosive show today. We don't do like 6-7 minutes of commercials. This is classic rock around the clock. We have our AC/DC show later on tonight.
Yep.
8 o'clock, a full hour of All Angus. It's sponsored by not only the fine folks at Southern Precision Staffing, 682-2828, Southern Precision Staffing for all your staffing needs. I'm breaking bread with Kai Gregory today at 11 o'clock. We're going to change the world today, so I thank him. And then tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, we're in bed, literally, with IBM as we high-tech and mash up the classic rock thing, our Champions Chat. It's an international show. It's seen by about 16, 17 different countries. And, of course, we're right here in the Birmingham area, so this is the most important community-based part of that show. But that's going to be going on tomorrow night. And then Detonation Station, baby. Cannot mention Thunder on the Mountain because of a cease and desist that we got. So I do not want to mention Thunder on the Mountain because I'm not allowed to mention Thunder on the Mountain. Our music we play on KCast Radio has nothing to do with Thunder on the Mountain because we're not official sponsors there. Right. We're your official Detonation Station. But it doesn't mean you can't listen to KCast Radio.
Well, you're at
last year, a lot of people were going back and forth on Facebook going, dude, to hear the music you're playing behind the fireworks, regardless of you're that Joe that goes to ssfireworks.com or Super Show Fireworks and you're buying it for the neighborhood, or you're just blowing off some sparklers in the backyard, or you're going to see that thing on the mountain down there near Vulcan. Either way, it adds it. I'll be down here live. I'm going to be out in the fire. I'm going to be out in the driveway blowing stuff off of the kids, as you can see. Probably take me till Monday.
So much.
I know, right?
Are there any sparklers in here?
No.
Then why do you have smoke bombs?
Kids.
Okay.
My daughter loves smoke bombs.
You got snakes?
Don't have snakes.
Ruins the driveway.
Yeah, the cakes are just the way to go.
Yeah.
I've got the shells. Where are the shells at?
Shells make me nervous.
There's these Kong shells that are exclusive to Super Show Fireworks.
Really?
They made them exclusively for Super Show Fireworks. Van and those guys out there have been in business for 20 years. They don't have these little shacks that they set up. Nothing against those people, but they don't set up these little shacks and they're going like on the 5th. They're open, 365. Yeah, it's fantastic. So, and there's a fireworks shortage.
Yeah.
These poor little kids in China or wherever they're rolling up these things, I guess they just can't get them shipped here soon enough. So if you're going to get fireworks, I went last week.
Yeah.
I would strongly urge you to go today or tomorrow. If you're waiting to the 3rd, you're going to get fireworks. There's going to be plenty of fireworks. They got plenty coming in.
Are you sure?
Well, yeah, there may not be too many left. After I went to those. Here's what you do when you go to fireworks, because I have a deal with them, obviously, and I'm running commercials for them and stuff. And so I took my 16-year-old, and of course he's like Cornholio. Fire, 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 fire. I mean, it looked, I thought my 16-year-old was on crack. His pupils were so dilated. He was like,
pyromania, man. It is every
crazy?
Every child.
I tell you what, I said, go ahead and take the cart and you pick out what you want. What
like
can I pick out? Van was like, pick out what you want. And then Van was like, whoa, okay. I was like, do we need to put some back? He's like, no, we're good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so why is that? Why do kids? I know the old adage, we love to play with fire.
Yeah.
But why do kids specifically like to play with fire?
Because it's novel. I mean, it's a power thing and an amazement thing, right? Because kids grow up. Little kids are always told, stay away from the fire. Don't touch the fire, right? Little kids. And when they get old enough to figure things out on their own, then they're no longer just afraid of their parents telling them not to go to the fire. It's like, don't step on that. Don't step on that. Don't step on that. And then they go and step on that. And it's a primitive thing. We're fascinated by fire. We're actually drawn to fire. And man, when you put it in the hands of a little kid, You know, I did it. I don't know. You did the first time you struck a match on your own,
Yeah.
right? You see what I mean?
We went to a friend's house the other day, and I was with my boy, and there was a pack of matches, and he's sitting there just And I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm trying to light this match." I said, "Why?" And he goes,
I don't know.
I've never lit a match before." And I was
Yes.
like, "You know, we got the things. You know, we never had the grill lighters. You know,
Those things
we had
don't
matches.
work anyway. And it is what's so interesting about it. It's so primitive. Like it is. I mean, not the fire's primitive, but our draw towards fire is absolutely. It is in our DNA. It is lizard brain stuff. And if you think about it, you know, you go to campfire or whatever, and you sit and you kind of watch the fire and you lose. So you watch any of those Naked and Afraid things, they always talk about we got to have fire.
Oh yeah.
But they talk about it like two different ways. They talk about it like
Bear Grylls does the same thing.
well, you know, and they
Like,
talk.
if you can make a fire, then you know you could live.
That's what I mean. I mean, there's a protective factor, but there's a total psychological factor. Now, this is something different. To me, this is different. Now, you know where I grew up. It's illegal. It's still illegal. You cannot do them in California yourself.
Yeah.
And so when I've done videos of myself doing this stuff, you know, we grew up in our entire childhood was sneaking fireworks. We'd go down to another city where it was legal, and now it's not legal anywhere. We couldn't do it. We had to go to shows. So your ability to do this is awesome.
We're unincorporated here.
Oh, that's right.
But
we're out in the
according to a lot of state laws, like sparklers and bottle rockets and stuff are legal. But then anything over a certain powder amount is I have not looked at the powder amount. I really don't care. Here's the thing, though. If we're having a good, safe, fun time, and I'll probably have 65 people out the top of my driveway coming up on
because they don't need to buy.
and so it's really one of those things where if everyone's kind of doing, because we have a couple other neighbors that do the same kind of thing, not probably at this extent, but they're doing some things. So I'm like, as long as we're all kind of doing it, I don't think.
Are you like safety? Are you safety dad? Do you like have?
Yeah,
keep people away.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have like fire extinguishers or anything?
I have a bucket of water.
You're gonna need more than one bucket of water for this one. I have a bucket of water.
And I make sure that we clean up the street because
Yeah,
there's some shrapnel coming from this. I mean, when these things go off,
I know.
You're real quiet. Here's the coolest thing: two things happen when these things go off. When the shell leaves the shooting apparatus, or whatever you want to call it, bats come out. It's the most amazing thing. I don't know if it's because
Have you ever killed any bats from doing
I'm
that?
sure because when it
bats
goes off, bats just, and then it goes off. The bats go. It's the most bizarre thing. It's super cool. I don't know if that initial pop, they feel that or hear that. I don't know what it is.
So
that's
you're
super
killing
cool.
bats.
And the second thing is after one of these big things go off, you just listen and you hear the stuff hitting the trees. It's just cool.
See,
it's super cool, man.
That's where I get from my childhood.
It's super cool.
Anything hitting the trees, I'm instantly thinking
pieces of paper and stuff, you know.
You know, I instantly think fire.
You know,
I love
the
this.
weird thing is there's some people that never outgrow that primitive.
No.
Now, and I would never suggest that you drink, you know, around fireworks, but we know that people will blow fingers off, and it's unfortunate. And,
who's an NFL player?
Very rarely is it because of anything from the fireworks. It always has something to do with the
Stupidity.
dumbass who's trying to hold a beer in one hand and trying to light something else, or he's throwing it, or he's holding on to it, or whatever. But I do have friends of mine that are like my age that still get the primitive freaking out. Oh my gosh, I get to blow off fire. Like they don't want it. It's like meat on the grill. If you go to their house, they're blowing up fireworks. They don't want you to blow their fireworks off.
Yeah, no, I'm not
mine.
I'm that.
Don't touch my meat on my grill.
Yeah,
do not even look at it.
Yeah, it is sex.
Yeah.
Fear. Fire.
Sex, fear, and fire. We should do a show.
Food.
Kurre and Klapow, sex, fear, and fire.
Sex, fear, and fire. I mean, all of those are. We can't control ourselves.
Yeah.
Like we can't control the impulse because it is, and I mean, people say it's a male thing. Oh, I got to tell you something Jill said today. We were talking about blowing things up. We're talking about fireworks. We were just talking about, and she was telling.
Women don't have that same primitive.
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
Women are like,
Why she doesn't even. I don't
tell
know.
me women and men are the same.
No, not all women. I mean, I know many women, girls growing up that were standing right there with me, lighting matches, lighting things on fire. I think it's a maturity thing. I've
never seen. My 9-year-old daughter she loves fireworks, but she has.
She's a little young. My daughter went from fear to obsession.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. So when she was young, about the same age as yours, she was very, like, Dad, you do it.
Yeah.
And then about 11, 12, it's, can I light it? Sure, sweetie, you can come light it. And it's the same.
Yeah.
Well, and you can see the primitive connection happening. And then she hasn't been with us the last couple of years, but the last, when she was 14, 15, she's like, I'm going to do it. I got it. And then it became an issue.
Yeah.
Cause I was like, no, you can do it with me, but she's like, I'm going to do them. No, they're my damn fireworks.
Yeah.
I bought them.
And then at some point, you will get burned. You will come close to burning your finger off or blowing a finger off. It will happen to every kid. It happens to every kid. It almost has to happen. It's a rite of passage.
Yeah. You know what's the most biggest thing since kids are
that's when you
the ER?
What's it?
Do you know which kind of firework?
Well, it used to be M80s.
Right.
They don't even make those anymore. But Roman candles, I guess, or
Sparklers.
Sparklers. Yeah, I know.
Because
sparklers are nasty. Right?
Sparklers.
Really? I mean,
sparklers make me more nervous.
I'm not kidding you now.
Yeah, right. Because
yeah, they burn your hands. It's like, I don't like.
Those
are okay, but sparklers are nasty, man.
Have your kids ever done this? They get scared and then they just.
Oh yeah.
But they don't throw them away. They throw them at me.
Yeah.
They just. The other ones that make me nervous. You're gonna say I'm a wimp. Any of the stuff on the ground, like the butterflies.
Yeah.
I love them, but
the spinners.
The spinners, because you don't know
where the hell they're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. We have a lot of great things here at KCast Radio. We're the first radio station in the country to be part of an escape room. I want to thank the fine folks at the Escape Room Lafayette. Kel and the entire crew there have built a room up around KCast Radio. It's called the KCast Radio DJ Zombie Room. Crazy. I did all the voice work for it. I sent it off a couple weeks ago. We're waiting for the room to be complete. And I also posted a picture of the KCast Radio. I don't know what, some light or something. It looked killer in here. I need to take that thing. But they built a room out. It's got an ambulance in it. I've escaped the zombie room, and I'm telling people who are coming to the room how to get out. Go to escapelafayette.com. Family, friends, gamers, enthusiasts, tourists, visitors, companies, events. You've done escape rooms. They're all over the country. This is by far
I get to voice them.
This is incredible. I know. I'm super excited about that. So it's an official KCast. It's official KCast Radio DJ Zombie Room. EscapeLafayette.com. EscapeLafayette.com. Check out their website.
They could do one for me. A psychiatric unit.
That would be some
scary.
Well, you'd probably have a lot of the medical. That would be politically incorrect. You cannot do a psychiatric escape room. People would lose their shit.
Do you see what we're doing?
See how stupid that is, though? But I mean, they would lose their.
But do you see
the
what happens?
Psychotic who's taken over the room.
This is what's changed. This is all your fault, man. This is all your fault. When I get with you
cannot do a psychotic,
I do stuff that is unprofessional, crosses boundaries.
You're talking about.
I don't think about like the ethics or any of that. I just thought it'd be.
Dr. Josh Klapow, world-renowned psychologist, just said we need to have a psychotic zombie room. Great idea.
Psychiatric, not psychotic.
Psychotic, whatever. Good luck.
No, okay, I got one. You could have. No, it's okay. Not a psychiatric unit, a therapy room.
That's even better.
No, it's better. Right.
A therapy room.
Yeah, but I'm just going to voice it over. Where has my patient gone? Are they a threat to you?
That would help therapy. By the way, I saw one of these virtual things are out of control. I asked you about what's the thing that Michael Phelps is endorsing, the therapy thing, and then Demi Lovato's doing it.
Talkspace, I think.
Yeah, I saw another one last night where a kid is up there and he's got this kind of smirky smile and he's probably about 18, 19, and he's like, "Are you tired of hearing this?" And then there's individual people saying, "Oh, you'll get over it, man. It's just a tough time," or depression doesn't last very long, or you'll feel better. And hey, a lot of people have a lot worse than you do.
Right.
And I thought it was a joke. And then at the end, it's like get the therapy you need.
Online therapy. See, but I told you, I have mixed feelings about that. I think in theory, it is absolutely what we need in theory. There are so many people.
No, it's great that they're getting it's better than that they get the therapy. First of all, a lot of people think they need therapy and they probably don't yet.
Well, and
the second thing is,
there's a lot of people who don't think they need therapy and they need it super bad.
Well, sure, but I mean, and I'm not saying that people are going to be reaching, because people obviously aren't going to be paying by the hour for a therapist virtually if they don't really need it. But they think a lot of people just need someone to talk to, and they'll get on there. I can imagine the yahoos that are getting on there going, yeah, I need a therapist, and they talk to someone for an hour and then they never return.
Yeah.
The therapy don't work one time.
But that's okay.
That's why it's called
at least we get you in. At least we get you in and trying. I mean, basically what they're doing is they're making it mainstream, right? They're making it feel like it's much more mainstream. I always tell people this: if you're going to go to a psychologist, you're going to go to a therapist. I always say this: give it three sessions.
Yeah.
Give it 3 sessions. Now, after 3 sessions, if you're like, okay, this is just not for me,
But the biggest problem, Josh, we have in this country is you can't find
right
a therapist, not a good therapist.
Hey.
That's the old thing is, oh, we got a therapist, he's great. You can't see him for 9 months. Okay, well,
Yeah.
I need him now, right? So you end up going to see some other therapist, and then obviously if you miss a couple sessions, you get booted out, and then you're back on the back. So what's different about this? If there's therapists out there that are registered, that are licensed therapists, that are seeing people.
There's two things. There's two things. This is what's so great about this, although I've told you I have some reservations about, or hesitation about the quality overall, but there's two things. One, it's much more accessible. So you don't have to drive anywhere. It's just there for you. You can work with somebody who, even within your state, maybe you live in, I don't know, we live in Birmingham, and there's somebody in Huntsville that you wouldn't drive to, or you live in L.A. and maybe there's someone in San Francisco. It's within your state. In certain cases, you can go out of state, and it makes it accessible. Like you said it, we have a huge mental health shortage right now. I mean, you cannot get in to see somebody.
No.
The only thing I just get. We talked about this. I was just going to sign up to do it. And what they pay to do it is pretty low.
Yeah.
And it's not unique to therapy to be a psychologist. If the pay is low, who's doing it?
Yeah.
Who's being attracted to it? I think it's a good thing though overall. I think it's a good thing. There are very few people who go through their life, and here's the distinction. You don't have to have depression and anxiety disorder, substance use. Like you don't have to have that kind of. You could be going through a stressful time. Maybe going through a divorce. Maybe somebody has just died. Maybe you lost your job.
Yep.
Maybe your kids. I see this all the time. New parents.
Yep.
You're gonna freaking lose your mind. But you don't have this diagnosis, but you don't know what to do.
Yep.
That's a lot of what therapy is. A lot of what we do is we help people manage life.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with a life coach.
Talk about one of our great sponsors real quick, and I want to give you some bedroom habits that are very putting off. There was a new, she's a life coach. Her name is Tracy Cox. You know who she is?
No. Is she a life coach?
She's like a bedroom therapist, and she's like, as we all get back into the mix of different things, here are the 10 things that we're probably doing wrong in the bedroom. I've been doing one for like 30 years. I never knew.
So one thing that you can do right is go to Woodhouse Day Spa. They are amazing places. Like going on vacation. They're located up at the Summit, 905-7676. Stuart Rum, their owner, is a great classic rock fan, and he has created an environment. Doesn't substitute for therapy, but I'm telling you, if you're having a rough day, you go have a manicure, a pedicure, a massage there, you will feel so much better. Go to the webpage, birmingham.woodhousespas.com, birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
These are the top 10 most common mood killers, guaranteed to stop even the most committed lovers.
Like passing gas.
So it doesn't matter whether this is like the first or second time you've been with somebody or whether you've been with somebody for 18 years.
Okay.
This is why hot desire suddenly runs cold. Some of these make sense. Some of them are kind of like.
Do they describe who this person is? Like what she's her title? If not, you know me. I always like to.
She's a British sex expert.
Okay. That's fine.
All right, then I'm in.
Okay.
Tell me more. Being selfish.
What is
obviously one.
What?
A lover who makes.
Wait. Is that like taking the covers or something? Like, what do you mean being selfish?
A lover who makes sure they're getting everything they need, but makes zero effort to ensure you do.
Yeah, well, that's.
Now, again, in any particular situation, I've done that before, but it was only because she wanted to say, listen, I got this tonight. And of course, I've returned the favor.
That's not being selfish.
No, that's not. That's what I'm saying.
But
some people may look at that now. If you're doing that every single time, I'm ready. When are you going? Then it probably doesn't work.
That's so bad.
Anything that stinks.
I just pass gas, body odor.
Breaking wind. Here's the thing about farts. There's going to be a point in time. Farts are always funny. Always funny.
Not in sex.
Elevators are funny. I have a 16, a 14, and a 9-year-old.
Are you going to tell me
it's
that's
hilarious in church, elevators, or mixed
in the
company,
bedroom?
restaurant? It's always funny. It may be rude. People may go, oh, but someone's always laughing, right?
Not in the bedroom.
But in the bedroom, there's always that point in time in a relationship
Are you a
where
sex
it's
expert?
kind of yes, where it's kind of funny. I did it with my wife. You did it with your wife.
No, I
you did it with
haven't.
your girlfriend.
No, I haven't.
Because
Never.
it is whatever.
Never.
Well,
No, that's what,
silent but violent, whatever. It's going to come out. It's going to happen. It's a bodily function. You can't control it all the
Yeah, you
time.
can.
And eventually, at some point in time, you will pass gas in front of your partner, whether they know it or not. It's going to be embarrassing. You act like nothing happened. Blah 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 blah. You might as well laugh it off.
But-
Don't make it taboo because it's part of your bodily function. It happens now. My point being here, at least according to Tracy Cox, British sex expert,
You don't notice
is
the
you don't
last
ever
name?
want to do it in the bedroom because it just ain't funny in the bedroom.
Right.
If it is funny and you guys are going back and forth,
It's
okay,
weird.
so be it. It's kind of
No,
weird.
but that's what. Okay, so you're agreeing,
Yeah.
right? Because you're Mr. Funny Fart guy.
Yeah.
That you think
It's
is funny.
hilarious.
No, but you're agreeing that in the bedroom, it is not funny,
Yeah,
appropriate.
but what my point being, I guess, is if it happens inadvertently, because
What
you
do
have to
you do?
understand when you're being intimate.
Yeah, there's all kinds
There's
of. There's
all
air.
particularly if you just had dinner. There's air, and you're jumping around, and there's things on top of things, and
You're
there's-
flipping upside
it's-
down.
you might as well just walk in with a whoopee cushion, just start. You're all over each other. You're sweating. Water fluids and flying all over the place. And there's going to be squishy sounds. Yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable.
Well, now squishy sounds are
And
different
so
than a
it's kinda-
fart.
Yeah.
Now that.
Well, I know, but I mean, but you're kind of like, well, did I just hear what
Yeah, but no, you
I have
say
fun
that's a
with it.
squishy sound. That's just air. Now that's also interesting because that's air.
Because we're somewhat of a family show.
You changing the topic.
Rather,
was so much fun.
rather than say rushing into penetration, I'm going to flip this and say, take your time with foreplay. And foreplay is such a nasty word, but it really isn't.
It's before play.
I find, just by experience, that a lot of talking works really well.
These Tony says
Going
tips.
through and remembering wonderful times in your life with that individual.
Yes.
Remember when we did this? That is almost as good as the touch. So,
Mm-hmm.
talk and just go nice and slow. So we'll go there. Having
Oh,
lived-
hang on, but let's just throw it in there because this is classic Kurre and Klapow thing. Foreplay can also start by doing the laundry.
Yeah, foreplay can start
foreplay is not
4 hours, 4 days before it starts.
Yeah, and there's a lot of guys who do not like that,
Yeah.
and they
Well,
don't. And they don't understand. I think so. That's the thing. They don't understand. They think because I just heard you say this. They think, oh, great, I'll do foreplay. I won't try to go towards intercourse immediately.
Yeah.
Lots of foreplay. I'm going to touch her. I'm going to kiss her behind the neck. I'm going to do all this. I'm going to say all this stuff. And then that doesn't work. Like, that's not working.
Yeah.
And then they think, well, you gave them bad advice or whatever. Foreplay can start with making sure it's a stress-free environment.
Yeah.
Making sure you did the laundry. Hell, being nice to them.
Yeah.
How many times have you heard, and this is, well, it's not just heterosexual, it's almost, how many times have you heard, I saw them being nice to our kids, or loving to our kids, not nice, loving to our kids, and I was so turned on.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so you got to think about it, lizard brain, you can't dial in on pre-sex foreplay and touching. You gotta step out broader.
I don't think you can ever go wrong as a guy letting her dictate the pace.
Well, the pace.
I mean,
Yeah.
I just, someone always said you go into intimacy like you're about ready to make out with a time bomb, or
Yeah.
you can always go faster, slower, whatever, but just like barely, just like.
But not hesitant. Because if you look afraid, you see look afraid.
Confident, but I mean, be confident, but I mean, allow her to dictate the pace because there's a lot more a woman has to do to get ready than for a guy.
Well, that's why I go back to the same thing. If it ain't working, are you doing your job? Are you doing your chores? Are you being nice? Taking care of the kids?
Having limited time, equally as off-putting as having sex over and done with a certain period of time. There are going to be times where we have to have quickies. The kids are going to be on in 45 minutes. We're both into it. That's fine.
We're both into it.
Exactly.
So, but that's the other problem.
But if all of a sudden, you're off to work, well, if you're constantly saying, hey, I'm in the mood, but I have to leave in 15 minutes, that's not a good sign.
That's being selfish.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're getting up and leaving before you really have to get up and leave, probably not a good thing. Now, there are some puppy dog situations where you're kind of like, dude, we've been laying here for 2 hours. That's a different kind of thing. Eyeing the phone, and listen.
Wait, go back to the puppy that we've been laying here for 2 hours. You know the other problem
one
happens as you
of
get
those
older?
things where you're kind of like, okay,
Well, the
how
other
much
thing is
longer do I have to lie here?
Well, then you start falling asleep.
Well, what if it's noon?
You start falling asleep.
Yeah.
Or you get hungry.
The phone has no place anywhere in the bedroom.
Look, if you got that,
I'm so over the phone. I'm so
even
over
if you're the biggest Casanova, or or you getting after it all the time, there's lots of places not to have the phone, tons of places.
Not even flipping it over,
But
just put it in the other room.
Yeah.
I mean, just because we are Pavlov's dog, we are formulated. We are as soon as we hear it. Hell, my leg vibrates when I have no pants on right now.
Yeah, I have that too. You have the phantom.
I was in the shower last night and my leg was shaking. And I looked down where my phone was and I'm naked.
What is that? Tell me.
I
I get that all the time. I think my phone is vibrating.
I know, right?
And I thought I had just like nerve disease, but I don't.
It's my sciatic phone nerve. You're in the moment enjoying some rather good intimacy, and all of a sudden, if you're expecting an important phone call or whatever, just don't do it. One thing at a time. Don't multitask.
So that's being selfish,
yeah.
Right? Because that's like, I'm going to try to pinch it in, even though I got these other things going on.
Then set it up and say, listen, I'm expecting a really important phone call, and if I get this, I have to take this. I want to be with you. And again, it depends on how long you've been dating somebody, what the situation is, where you're at, how much time.
But as soon as you say that,
pretty much, if you got a phone,
as soon as you say that, just think about that. Think about it for a minute.
Well, if you're married,
but even if you're married, talk about a buzzkill. Look, I know we're both intimate, we're feeling it, we're going to go up there, but I just, I'm expecting a phone call, and I don't want it to disrupt us, but if the phone rings, I'm going to have to take it.
Yeah.
Now, in what?
I'd wait. It's a go.
That's what I mean. In what universe?
Take the phone call and we'll go afterwards.
Yeah, because in what universe?
There's nothing worse than when you're really in tune with somebody and they look at you and go, "I got to take this call."
Yeah.
Unless it's like 4:00 in the morning, your kid's on the side of the road.
Look, unless or if you're a physician on call. Yeah. Other than that, just don't do it.
Talking too much or too dirty. This is a.
Do you remember? Sorry. Yeah. Do you remember what we did when we called her a rotten tomato?
Oh yeah. Yeah, a guy called a woman a rotten tomato, and she says like, "What?" It's like, "You dirty rotten tomato," and she's like, "I'm out." Yeah, that was weird, wasn't it? This is This is a risk versus reward situation.
Okay.
If you're not a dirty talker and you've never done it before, and she wants you to do it, you got to practice and start off slow.
Because you run out of stuff.
Because if you sit in there and all of a sudden you're like, "You dirty rotten tomato, you mashed tater, you piece of," and she's like, and she's not talking back to you, and she's like,
don't say stupid stuff. So here's what the two things you have to do. You can't say stupid things.
Yeah.
And you can't say derogatory things. I mean,
you got to know somebody pretty good,
that's what I'm saying,
before you start
being even semi-derogatory.
Yeah.
So just leave that alone.
You can't really fake it either. You can't really fake.
No.
You can't really fake dirty talk. It doesn't work. Making derogatory comments that just goes without saying.
Unless you're doing some sort of role play.
Here's one I think is really interesting: being too noisy. Granted, a partner who doesn't make any response at all isn't fun.
Well, no, plus you're always wondering what's going on.
But someone who moans, groans loudly, talks too much, makes all kinds of, like you at Woodhouse Day Spa, cannot get a back rub without going, oh, well, I have to let her know I'm having a good time. I'm like, no, you don't, dude. I couldn't even relax. I was like 4 doors down from you, and I could hear you.
You were in the next room, and it made me nervous.
So, yeah, that's one of those things where, because guys think if the louder it is, the better we are.
The louder we are, the louder they are.
The louder they are.
Yes.
Now, I will say this, that sometimes when you do, this is like Taekwondo or karate. Aya! Sometimes you're more forceful and you can punch through your stuff. So when you are vocal or you make some noises, sometimes it does accentuate the
Please tell me
intimacy.
you don't do what you just did.
No, I don't go, aya! No, I'll do it afterwards.
That's fine.
Afterwards, I'll go out and break some bricks with my bare hand, and I feel pretty damn good about it.
No, you do have to. You do because.
But we have all been in a situation where someone's like, "Hey, we live in an apartment complex, and I want you to enjoy this.
Yeah, but okay, but let's take that a little bit deeper.
Because this is Maria Sharapova.
Yeah.
She's grunting every time she hits
Well,
the ball
that's an
to
issue,
perform.
but that's
I'm like,
doing
okay, well, then we need to get a padded
Yeah,
run
but
now.
Sharapova's doing that. That's to distract. Right? There's a purpose behind
Well,
it.
it's for power. And
But there's
it's part of who
power,
she is.
and it's okay.
So if a woman's in that powerful situation where that's the only way she can enjoy it, then you've got an issue.
But do you care? Does it bother you if it's not disturbing anyone else? So let's say you're not in an apartment. You're out in the middle of the woods.
If you're out in the middle of the woods, no, I got no problem with it at all. But in most cases, being too loud, someone's going to...
But is it distracting? See, that's what I mean. Does it kind of not freak you out, but make you uncomfortable?
I don't know. See, I'm a giver. So if you're having fun, I'm having fun. If you want to scream, say all kinds of
Do you ever
crazy
get concerned?
things.
Do you ever get concerned?
Concerned
Like
about
they're
what?
screaming too much. Like they were kind of losing their
I
mind.
think the more screaming, the better, because then I feel like I'm doing a good job.
What if the
Because
guys
if they're not making any noise, then I feel like I'm screwing things up.
If you're a heterosexual couple, is it okay for the,
If you have to ask, are you okay?
Well, that's
Are you having a good time? Is there something I need
So
to do?
does she talk about this?
She goes, I'm fine.
Does she talk about sort of pain and hurting versus not hurting?
No, I mean, I think you know. I'm obviously now. If you can't decipher the good scream and the bad scream, then you've got bigger issues.
Oh, no, there's a fine line.
Changing positions constantly.
That's called fidgeting.
She says it's so obviously a show off, and it's usually the man.
Oh, that kind of changing position. I thought more like fidgeting. Yeah.
This is the guy who's is like.
Roll on your back. Get up.
Get up.
Sorry.
Oh, well, let's go over here. Let's go over there. Okay, can we just take like 30 seconds on this? You know, if you're doing that, it's not good. And here's the one that is my big issue.
More so than farting.
What do you think it is?
Falling asleep.
Having pets in the room. Now,
Oh, yeah.
let me tell you something.
Okay.
Dr. Rab is a good friend of mine from the Rossbridge Animal
Yes.
Hospital. We do a show here called Dark Side
Yes.
of Pooch. It's going to pick back up hopefully sometime in August as soon as he's willing to come back in my studio. I've sprayed it down again. We've had this discussion about pets. I love animals.
I know you
I've
do.
had goats. I've got chickens. I've got a sick hedgehog right now. I've got snake. I got fish. I have 4 dogs. I have a cat. I have a hamster. I don't have a hamster. My family does. So I'm a family of animal lover. Okay, and I've had dogs my entire life. I'm not going through a particularly good dog time right now because I'm looking at my dogs as just another thing that needs attention.
That's because you're
It
going
either
through a
wants
life
to-
change.
It either wants to eat,
Yeah.
it wants its belly pet, or it's peeing and pooping in the house. And it's not an enjoyable thing for me. Rarely do I go, come here, boy, because it gives me comfort right now. Right now, it's kind of like,
Well,
leave
but
me
you're
alone.
going through some
and I hate that I feel
transitions.
that
Yeah,
way,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I hate that I feel that
They
way.
also end up minding the yard all the time.
So, you know, and the whole thing is once you let the animals start sitting on the furniture or laying in the bed,
That's your
it's
fault, right.
over.
Yep.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks. And so I was kind of like, but we weren't on the same page. I'm like, no dogs in the furniture. They're animals. I love them. They're part of our family.
Yeah.
We'll take care of them. We'll pet them. We'll love them. We'll
Right.
bathe them. We'll walk them. But they're animals. They are animals, and I don't want animals in my bed.
Yeah,
I don't.
that's fine.
They're outside, running around. They roll around their own poop.
Yep.
And I don't want a dog. And I'm a pretty light sleeper.
Yeah, and you're clean.
And
you're
very
very
clean. I like to take a shower every night before I go to bed.
Yeah.
I'm not take your shoes off before you come to my house clean. But I don't want to be sitting in a bed full of bark after a long day at work. I like to have nice clean sheets. It doesn't have to be pulled. I don't have to be tucked in or read a story. But I do have my regular routine.
Okay, so where are you going with
You
this?
know what I'm
This
saying?
is clearly an issue for you.
But when you meet somebody
Yeah.
who's posting a lot of pictures of their animals,
Now,
and there's
yeah.
a lot of dog women out there, and you know who you are. Dog women.
Listen, dude, it ain't just dog women.
And there's some dudes that do it too.
Yeah.
But if a woman, if you're getting on Tinder or one of these dating apps or even Facebook or whatever, and the woman's got like 50% of her pictures with her pooch, you better be prepared to have that pooch in bed with you. And a lot of dudes and girls don't like it. They just don't like it. And it's like, hey, and it's not self-conscious. It's not an insecurity thing. It's just like, I'm here with you. The bedroom to me is
Sacred.
sacred. It really is.
Well, it also
the
is-
phones don't go in the bedroom. I don't have a TV in my bedroom.
I
I'm
think
sorry if
it's
you watch
also a little
TV.
self-conscious.
It's where you sleep. It's where
Listen,
you.
I think
you're
there's
in.
also a self-conscious thing.
Yeah.
So listen to this. Does it bother you? It's one thing if the dog is or the cat, or what? Well, cats, forget cats. Let's do dogs.
Cats freak you out. It's like having Jeff Hammock in there.
Well, that's
you don't
what
know where they're
'cause
at.
you-
And they're
right.
spying on you. Yeah.
So okay, so that one, cats pose a danger to you
Yeah.
because like they could claw it. Whatever. Okay, but the dog thing is interesting to me because there's definitely the dog on the bed, the cleanliness. I don't care how clean your dog is,
Yeah.
right? But there's also that sort of somebody's watching.
Yeah.
Like even if the dog, what if the dog was in its bed? It had a bed, like a little dog bed at the foot of the bed. Would that bother you?
Like,
and it
I'm
didn't- it did-
6'4", and so I don't like to have anything impede my movement.
Okay, so no, but let's.
So a dog at the end of the bed.
Well,
would
not at
probably
the end of the
have
bed.
to
Let's just say it's a big enough room. It's in the corner of the room.
go. Oh, no problem at all.
Doesn't bother
As
you.
long as it knows that's where it sleeps.
While you're having sex.
I have no problem as long as it stays there.
You see, it bothers.
But some animals don't like that, particularly if you just met somebody that's
Yeah.
very protective, and most animals are, and all of a sudden you're doing something with its owner, and it
Well-
wants to come up and like, hey, what's going on up here? Then I'm like, and then
Right.
then I expect her to say, hey, Mr. Pickles, get off the bed.
Because I got another.
Mom is okay. Get off the bed. And then the next thing you know, you're putting the dog outside the door. And
then
the
the
next thing
dog's
you
like-
know, I'm super concentrating. I'm trying to think, okay,
And-
what was
and
Pete
it-
Rose's average in 1978 just so I don't go.
and you hear this.
Yeah. And then the scratch in the door. The scratch in the door. I'm like, I'm doing everything I possibly can to try to be the best I possibly
You
can
should
be
use
here.
that.
And I
You-
can't concentrate.
But you could use that.
Yeah. And then put the dog out. Okay, give me 1 second. Put the dog
Right.
out, and then what happens? Barks.
Bark.
And
I'll
it's
get
kinda
let
like-
dog back in.
And then right away I'm like, okay, I'm competing against this animal.
Yes.
Now I realize I came in after the animal, but I'm also a human being, and that's an animal.
Well, and did you ever think that that you're traumatizing the dog? Like, think about that. It's like the kids, right? It's exactly.
I don't give a damn about the dog.
No. I know you don't.
Traumatizing
No, but that's.
the animal.
Well, think about that. It's what you just said. It's what you just said. You don't care, but at the same time, like the dog wants to be in the room.
Yeah.
But I don't know that the dog wants to watch you having sex, just like you said.
Well, I don't care whether the dog
But
wants
that's
to
what
see me
no,
having
but that's what
sex.
I'm saying. That is the angle that you take. What you say is, look, this is not healthy for the
You
dog.
ever get the lick?
The what?
The lick?
Yeah.
See,
and
that's
just-
actually pretty good. That's
No,
actually when you're
that's just-
going at it, and all of a sudden you're like, "Is Mr. Pickles in the room? I hope he's in there because something is kind of cold back there." Yeah, that's one of those things. Now, listen, it depends on the situation, and I know a lot of men and women, men and men, girls and girls and
Yeah.
women, because we're a politically correct show here.
It's not
I
completely
understand they have
irrelevant.
animals, and if they get the animal together, it's one thing. But if you're getting into a relationship where someone already has a dog, then I think it's fair to set some parameters. I'm a dog lover. Again, I love animals. I feed. That's the other thing is there's some resentment here. I'm not going to get into that, but
We'll get into let's unpack that a little bit.
we started with one dog.
Right.
Didn't want the second one, but I said okay because if you have one dog and you're not at home, it needs to have a
It has
friend.
to have a friend.
Okay, it has to have a buddy.
Yeah.
And then it turned into a third dog because it was a therapy dog. And
Okay.
I'm like, okay.
Okay.
You're taking care, and it was a kid thing. You're taking care of this dog. We
They
know how
never
it goes.
do.
That's like
Yeah.
saying, I'll get you a rabbit, but you're going to feed it. And then I
That's
end up
just
feeding it
stupid.
every
Right.
single day. I'm the one stepping over the put. So it is what it is. It's just a time in your life that, I love dogs. And I had a dog named Freddie that was a basset hound.
I remember Freddie.
And it was a Saturday morning, about 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm laying in bed, and my son was probably about 10, and he comes up and he goes, "Hey, Dad." I was like, "What?" He goes, "Hey, are you awake?" I said, "I am now. What's up?" He goes, "There's a basset hound." And I said, "What do you mean a basset hound?" He goes, "It's at the front door."
Oh, that's awesome.
And I said, "Okay,
Yes.
okay, we'll just leave it alone. Maybe it's lost. It's a puppy."
Oh.
And I said, "Oh, okay."
Did you know at that moment
We'll just keep an eye on it.
You're dead meat. You're,
I said, "Are you up for the day?" And he goes, "Can we keep it?" And I said, "No." I said, "That's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to go back to sleep for about an hour because it's Saturday.
Yes.
I usually get up at 4 o'clock.
That's fine.
Just leave it alone. Can I bring it in the house?"
No.
I said, "No."
Right.
And he goes, "It's already at the bottom of the bed." And I looked up, and there it is at the bottom of the bed, and I was like, "Okay." He goes, "I brought it in because it was shivering. I didn't want it.
Yeah.
It's scared. It doesn't
Yeah,
want to collar."
sure.
And I said, "Okay." So I tell you what, go put it in the laundry room, and then when I get up, we'll take care of it.
Did you
Of course,
feed it?
it's whimpering and
Did you
stuff.
feed it?
Well, of course I had to
Oh, there
feed
you
it,
go.
right? So I'm like, okay, and it's a basset hound, it's a purebred basset hound.
I remember
so I'm
Freddie.
thinking after 7 days, it's like finding someone's cash or wallet.
Yeah.
After that, we get to keep it. And he goes, okay, fine. So I was posting crap everywhere in hopes that someone would claim this dog. Even someone that didn't own the dog, I was hoping someone would say, that's my basset hound, here you go. Because I didn't want another dog. So ultimately, we keep the thing. Basset hounds are wonderful pets,
Yep.
super loyal, but they're nasty, dirty, stinky. They dig.
They get ear infections.
They get ear infections. They
Their
get all
anal
these issues.
glands need
Their anal glands
exposing,
need- yes, they-
expressing. Sorry, not. You know you can do that yourself.
Oh. And I was like, and so we were having a little issue, me and him, because he wasn't
You and
listening
Freddie,
to me.
or you and your son?
Me and Freddie. And I
Okay.
was like, okay, well, I'm going to teach this dog because I'm pretty good I've got a little dog whisper in me. I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm very patient. So I was teaching this dog how to do things. Well, it was pooping in the house, and I was telling the kids, hey, listen, you guys got to take it out on a leash,
Right,
take it to
yeah.
a part of the yard, praise it, give it a treat. You got to do all these things. You can't just open the door when it's raining and say, come back when, because it'll go potty, right? So I finally so it comes in, and I'm coming home from a late night, and I go and lay in my recliner, and it had shit in my recliner.
Oh, okay, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, and I'm
That's
like,
it.
okay. And cats are known to do this. Cats will poop in shoes because they're
Well,
territorial.
yeah.
Dogs normally won't poop on furniture. They'll
No.
poop on floors. And I was like, okay. And it's sitting there looking at me. I'm going, okay, we got a problem.
Yeah.
We got a problem.
Did you ever come to Jesus moment with it?
I did.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it was like that Lucky Dog, TV show. It's kind of like I was trying to check it back, yelling at it, doesn't do any good. Probably didn't remember why I'm angry with it.
That's
because
right.
It could have happened earlier in the night.
Don't
They're
spank
supposed
it.
to remember, so I didn't spank it. We'll talk about that in a minute. So I took it out. Do you ever rub your dog's face in it? I don't know if that works.
That
or not.
used to be a
Talked
thing.
about-
That
yeah,
used to
rub
be a
your
thing.
face
I
in it,
remember my
tell 'em
parents
no.
did it, yeah.
I still don't know if they know what the hell that means. My dad used to do that with me.
That's right.
So I'm not sure. He used to take my diaper
My
off,
parent-
stuff my face in it, smell it, don't do this. No, boy, no. And I'm like, okay.
My parents used to do that,
Yeah.
and not me, with the dog. And I always used to think it just looked like something. Not just that it was wrong, like you could see the dog's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and like 2 days later, it doesn't work.
Right.
So I thought we had our moment over, and then I called my vet friend, Dr. Rab, and he goes, I said, I'm having a little thing. It was growling, and it was just some weird things. I said, listen, he goes, maybe we should just have him snipped off so that it'll help the temperament of the dog.
Oh, like I thought she'd taken
And
out.
he may be going through some type of testosterone-driven
Yes.
dog thing or whatever. So I said, okay, so we had him snipped off, and I said, I would like to keep them.
You had him neutered and you wanted to keep his testicles.
Yeah.
You're weird.
So he put his testicles in one
Why?
of these little things.
You're weird.
Just because it was a power trip.
So you're going to show it to him?
Yes.
Dude, that's...
So I put him on top of the fridge, and whenever he got on my nerves or peed in the carpet or whatever, I'd go, I got your nuts.
Yeah, and you're going to tell me that worked
3 weeks
tremendously.
later, poops in the bed.
Of course.
On my side.
Because
Not on the wife's side.
Because you
Didn't poop
showed
in
him
my
his
thing,
testicles
Didn't
and you
poop
took...
anywhere near my wife.
You're right.
Everything it was aimed at me.
Because you just...
And I'm the one that's giving this thing all the love and all the time and the patience and the loyalty. And I'm thinking, okay, we got an issue here, dude.
Well, you
And then he started running away, and finally I was like, you know what?
You let him go?
I didn't let him go. He would run away, and unfortunately he would come back. And then finally I called a friend and was like, listen.
Okay, so you not donated him. You found him another home.
Yeah. And then I saw him. He's probably like 14 or 15 now. I saw him like 3 years ago.
He's happy.
Yeah, he's gray. And I miss him. I mean, it just was.
Does he harbor
You
any
have to be in the
resentment?
right time of
Does
your
he
life.
harbor any resentment too when you saw him?
No, and I got rid of his nuts about 10
Did
years
he
ago.
look at you like did he look at you like a broken relationship? And express to you how happy he was now because his new owner...
I'm so glad I got away from you.
Yeah, because, you rubbed my face
You
in...
have to be in the right time of your life for a pet.
But no... You know my... So you know my thing. You know my thing. It's about, let's have a child. It'll keep us together.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So cut. You can instantly, nothing personal, but you instantly can tell the degree of responsibility of somebody by their pet's behavior.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And the other thing that you see, we've seen in COVID, but is before the baby thing, let's get a puppy. Well, a puppy, it'll make us happy. And parents do for their kids all the time. But when you have relationship problems, you get a puppy, not only does that not, I mean, again, it goes against everything. It's like, it is like saying, let's have a baby.
Yeah.
Because the puppy looks cute.
Doesn't fix anything.
Well, it doesn't fix it, and it literally adds more stress. Who's going to take the puppy out?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not thinking about puppy crap in the house. Who's going to, the puppy pee in the thing?
Yeah.
And then you're getting after each other. If you can't raise, I've always said this, if you can't raise a well-adjusted dog, you do not deserve to be a
Everybody
parent.
should get an animal first before they have a child.
Yes.
Seriously.
I did.
And see who gets up in the morning. It allows you to have the conversation of role plays.
Yes.
It allows you to have the conversation of relationship responsibility. Okay, I'm going to do it this day. You're going to do it this day.
Anger,
Next thing you know,
your anger management.
Did you anger man?
Right.
Did you feed the dog? No, I thought it was your time. Okay, well, we got an issue here.
Right. Did you kick don't kick the dog.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's true. And it was not a good time for me with Freddie dog. Had it been a different time in my life, perhaps. But again, having 4 dogs is incredibly difficult.
But it's no different than kids.
Yeah.
Let's have another kid. Let's have a bigger family. It'll make us more happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, dogs are wonderful animals, and like most things in life, the more you put into an animal, the better it's going to be. Dogs were made and domesticated to serve us.
Yes.
Okay? I'm not talking sled dogs, but they're protective. They come in and wake you up during fires. Dogs are very, very loyal. That's why it's man's best friend. But it's not man's best friend if you chain it up outside. I don't understand how people, when they have an animal, and it's driving them crazy, and it's getting on the furniture, and it's peeing and pooping, by putting it outside for 12 hours a day, how it's going to make it better. Put it outside. Put it outside.
Right.
And I do it. Put it outside.
Well,
and then it turns into an outdoor dog.
Well,
and then it doesn't know how to act inside. You have to put the time in.
You see what you're right. And if you can't do that,
just like a child.
If you cannot do that, how can you expect to have a child? And the difference is, people get very holier than thou with it.
Yeah.
I bought that damn dog. I bought it. I own it.
Yeah.
Right? Well, okay. Well, you're not.
Oh man, when I see Judge Judy,
shit.
and I see them going to court over who gets the dog, I'm like, I don't get that.
She doesn't like that.
No, she's like, people actually.
I've
got a friend of mine going through divorce right now.
It's that.
And their biggest issue is they can't decide who gets the dog.
Oh, that's an
issue. They've
issue.
only had it for a year. And I'm like, dude, get out. Get another dog? He's like,
no.
And now this could be resentment. It could be she wants the dog, so I want it.
Or he just loves the dog.
You don't want,
dude, people get so. I have seen.
And I get it. I mean, I get it. That's totally cool. That's certainly not going to be the thing that's holding me up in court. Don't get me wrong.
No.
But again, it's an animal. There's a serve a purpose, and dogs will do anything they can to make you happy. But you got to put the time and effort into it for it to
Well,
make you happy.
in a healthy way.
And that's another me problem, because when the animal ain't act the way I want it to, it's on me.
But you see
when
that?
a dog poops in the house,
Yep.
it's my fault. And I can't get angry at it because I'm the one that didn't take it out, and then I get angry with myself, and it just emasculates into this crazy,
And what you just described, I was saying I could write a book on it. If you wrote a book, you don't even need to write a book. Take a book about training dogs.
Yeah.
You're welcoming a dog into your house. They got a bazillion books on that. Here's what the dog needs: structure. The dog needs lots of love. The dog needs consistency.
Yeah.
You write all that and substitute baby in there. Mm-hmm. It's the same book.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same book.
Yeah.
And so we got people who can't take care of their animals, and they make this assumption that they're going to be a good parent.
Yeah.
Or they go the other way. It's my dog. I bought it. It's my kid. It's my kid. I'll raise them the way I want.
Yeah. By the way, since we have all these fireworks here from ssfireworks.com and Super Show Fireworks, I saw some sign down here off of Valleydale or off of Colonel Road. I love fireworks, something a dog will never say. Keep in mind your dogs. I can't believe I'm saying this as a public service announcement, but I've got one that will freak out. I mean, if you drop a box on the floor, it will freak out for the rest of the day. They hate fireworks, so don't be blowing these things off and thinking.
I feel like we're doing some sort of news morning show where we're giving helpful tips.
You did send me an article this morning, and I wasn't going to get into it, but we're live on Facebook Live right now.
Do I get to piss people off?
I
love this. This pisses people off.
Before we get there, though, if you're watching us right now, get the KCast Radio app.
Yep.
We have had an incredible uptick of downloads recently. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because we're just kicking ass and having a good time, and we're the detonation station. We got all kinds of wonderful things going on. But get the KCast radio app. It takes literally 5 to 10 seconds through the Apple Store or through Google Play, and download the KCast radio app, and you can hear everything we're doing. It's a classic rock station to the bone. I'm thinking about changing our thing more than a classic rock station. Because we got a lot of stuff going on, some unique programming coming up that's going to be really cool. I love classic rock. I did sports radio for 14 years. I was on the Jay Barker Radio Network a couple of days ago, or yesterday. Love doing those things too, but classic rock is my home, and we like to play. If you listen to our music, man, it's killer. You're not going to hear the same crap over and over and over again. It's killer, so check it out.
By the way, before I go to spanking and hitting your kid, did you see Giannis went out last night? So Giannis is out and Trey is out. So is that equal?
And Milwaukee got smoked last night, and I was happy to see him come back on the court. He didn't play again.
That was the right thing to do.
Extensions are nasty looking.
Yeah.
If him and Trey can't play anymore, then
Did you see the free throws?
Yeah.
No, did you see the free throws with Atlanta counting it?
Yeah.
That one, I've never seen. It spooked him.
Yeah. Well, he said that he likes when the opponent's fans count down, and he was like, I think he was like 7-9 or 7-10 the game before.
The airball.
And it actually worked, but yeah, it's got to be kind of strange. But it's the same thing as waving something behind the goal.
See, his brother carried him off.
I
thought that was Thanias.
Man, another two superstars go down.
Yeah, that's what. That's that whole.
Like, we've lost every major superstar this year.
You see, Serena's out of Wimbledon.
Yeah, it's a little different tennis. But in basketball this year, I can't name one superstar that hasn't gone out yet. Every one of them, for one reason or another. It's been crazy. All right, so you sent me this article. We only have a couple minutes.
Yeah,
you
go.
Sent me this article.
I'm going to go.
We talked about this numerous times about whether you should spank your kids, and I have spanked each one of my kids one time. Actually, my oldest son twice, and I never had to do it again. It's not because I wore his ass out or broke skin or anything. It worked. Okay. It's not something that you want to use. I'm not going to Walmart my kids because if you constantly are spanking your kids, it does no good.
It's a you thing, yeah.
And if you're going to make the threat, then you have to make the threat. My dad used to reach for his belt. He never spanked me or never hit me with his belt, but all he had to do was reach for his waist. He was either going to fart or he was threatening to whip me. And, of course, I was a really good kid, so I didn't have those issues. But that was enough for me, and I never – but he had a different way of discipline. But he also had 3 kids before me, so he had learned, and that's why I turned out to be the best before. But you saw some interesting article about spanking where it can actually.
It's been out there. So this one is interesting. This just came out in the Lancet, and it's the first global study. So they looked at all the studies looking at physical punishment. Okay, and one of the things that's really cool about this study is they separated out, if you will, anything that was abuse.
Yeah.
Including, you're gonna love this. I read this article. So, hitting, using a belt. Because what they wanted to look at is, are there negative effects of spanking? And they're like, well, if we roll in using a belt and hitting your kid, then okay. So, but you know, one of the things that they also took out, washing the mouth out with soap. Did you ever have your mouth washed out with soap? I did.
Yeah, I had a bar soap in my mouth.
Yeah, right. Okay, so all of that was out. They said, okay, we're not counting it. We're just going to look at physical punishment that is basically spanking. Spanking. And we're going to look at it across the entire world. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, it doesn't work. It's not effective. And, which we've known, it can produce negative longer-term effects. Kids who are more aggressive, kids who have a harder time assimilating in school, kids who are more verbally abusive, kids who hurt other kids. Now, I'm not, and so what, the result of this is always the same thing, which is you do not need to spank your child. A. B. There are other ways to punish your child that are as effective and don't have the risk. And almost every parent, I spanked my kid. You spanked your kids? I did not like it. I didn't want to do it. I did it. I could have done something else. Mm-hmm. I didn't think to go there. It was the easiest thing to do. I hadn't lost control. But, the research doesn't lie. Spanking your child does not work on average. The reason I'm saying that is, you know me, I love to put this stuff out there. I've already had a response. Well, it worked for me. Worked for my kids. My kids are fine. That's good. But on average, it absolutely doesn't work. And the other excuse I always hear is, well, I turned out fine.
Yeah.
Which is always my favorite one.
Did you? And you always say, did you? You did.
But, you know, think about this. It's global. So different cultures.
Yeah.
And now one thing that is interesting about it is they're looking at the rate of spanking over generations. Mm-hmm. It's going down and down and down. Because here's the thing. You've got to be more patient as a parent. You don't have to tolerate it.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you is how often are we spanking because the parent benefits from the immediate gratification. I don't want to say gratification is the right word, but sometimes parents just snap. Sometimes it's like, and we talk about Walmart and your kids. Sometimes the arm is wailing before you can even think about.
Well, that's the worst. That's the worst case.
Yeah.
If you ever are hitting or spanking out of anger, you are putting yourself at risk. You're putting your child at risk, not just for physical injury. It's a bad vibe. Because here's the other thing, and I always use this as an example. I don't know if you've been there. I've been there. Siblings, one hits the other one. We do not hit we do not hit each other in this family.
Yeah.
How are you going to handle that one?
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, look, just, own up to it as a parent. Is taking things away from your kids, doing timeouts, removing them from the situation. We call it the grab and go in Walmart. And telling me that it works, it may stop. Actually, we know it'll stop the behavior. That's not, it'll stop it. Mm-hmm. But what it does is either creates a situation where your child's afraid, and fear behaviors, then they do other stuff out of fear. Yeah. They start peeing, they hit their sibling. Mm-hmm. So it's like, just grow up. It goes back to the
Where can they find this article?
It's in the Lancet, okay. Or if you go to my either Facebook page or at Dr. Josh Twitter, I've reposted it. And again, this is not like one person. I think it's 90 different studies.
What would you say if the other disciplinary measures aren't working? I know people, you can time out your kids. I can be honest with you, we're
not doing it right.
Timeouts,
you're not doing it right
because you have a timeout corner.
Yeah.
You don't ever want to make it in their room because that's where they sleep.
That's right.
It's got to be something dark and
it's a hassle. So what do? I'm going to just hit my kid.
So now I'm going to create a room just for so I might as well knock it out.
No, but so here's what you do. And it doesn't always work because my youngest one didn't work. You stick them in a corner. You face the chair the other way. Yeah. Up against a wall. You don't put their face in the wall. Yeah. But so they can't see. They can't be stimulated. Some kids who have great imaginations, you put them there, then they're like, la, 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 la. That's fine. Then you tell them to be quiet.
And there's a time limit.
There's a time limit because you're doing it to stop the behavior that they were doing. Yeah. So you give them 3 minutes or 2 minutes or even 1 minute, and when they stop, you say, okay, you can go back. Yeah. And then if they go back and do it, you put them back again, and you increase it a little bit. If you've done that 3 times, then you take stuff away. Parents are like, my 3-year-old, they don't have anything. Oh, yes, they do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Literally, it gets easier for older kids. Yeah. Because spanking doesn't work and they have prized possessions that doesn't work. Younger kids, you just start taking stuff away. Just take it away.
Make sure that if you're going to make the threat, follow through. Whatever it is, I'm going to take your phone
Dr.
away.
Curry. That is,
don't ever threaten.
If you do this one more time,
it sucks to do it, but you've got to follow.
You know why? Because you instantly teach your child. And listen, a 4-year-old can figure this out. They're going to yell at me. Yeah. They're going to tell me not to do it, but they're never going to do anything. I'm telling you, a 4-year-old can rock your world that way.
I have to pee. Talk about one of our great sponsors, then we'll get back to some classic rock to the bone here. Make sure you get that KCast Radio app, KCast Radio, KCast Radio.com. You can hear the Kurre and Klapow show every Monday through Friday between 6 and 9. Special programming throughout the rest of the day, and it's 24 hours a day on an app. It's killer. There's not a lot of commercials on it. It's the classic rock you love, so get into it.
Yeah, I was going to say, as you go to pee, you're peeing and you have a healthy prostate. Yes. You know you don't have prostate cancer because you have a PSA, which is a blood test. You have your prostate examined once a year, and Vituro Health is there. They're one of our sponsors. to let you know that, guys, 1 out of 9 men are going to develop prostate cancer. If you do, there are alternative treatments. Vituro Health is there with urology centers all over the country, including locally, developing those treatments, putting them out there for urologists so that your prostate cancer can be cured without the negative sexual side effects. Go to their webpage, get educated about prostate cancer, prostate health, and men's health. It's at VituroHealth.com.
Very good, Kitty Poos.
I feel so much better that I talked about my prostate.
There you go. Still on Facebook Live.
Yeah. My prostate's happy, Tony's prostate's happy, and we're going to say goodbye.